What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my experience running a marathon every Saturday for the past 4 weeks. So this isn't something I really set out to do, but I kind of stumbled upon it and took it as a challenge, decided to push myself to the limit and see what I'm capable of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each of the 4 marathons, how I felt and how things were changing throughout. So marathon number 1, this one I did it for my 27th birthday, so I figured I'm turning 27, let me run 27 miles. So I invited family and friends. Everybody came out. We had coolers with food and water, and we had a great time. And ultimately, it wasn't really a challenge because my pace was very slow. I was running with friends and family. To be honest, I felt pretty good when I was done. And that's kind of when the next weekend came upon, marathon number 2. I decided, why not run it? Why not try it again? The first one didn't feel too bad. And I think I got it in me to do something a little better than I did that first one. So I invited some friends and I went for marathon number 2. And marathon number 2 felt pretty good as well. And when I was done, I felt a little better than I did the previous week. Not only that, my training started feeling a little better. My MAF time started reducing. And my pace went from running a 9:30, 9:15 to 8:15. So that's when I said I might be onto something here. And I decided to go for marathon number 3. Marathon number 3 was probably the toughest one out of the 3. That's when my body was the most tired, when my legs were almost giving out, and I probably struggled the most mentally and physically to get through it. But my time did drop compared to marathon 1 and 2. This time I was running about an 8:50 mile pace and finishing around 3 hours and 50 minutes. It was a hard effort, it was hot, it was humid, but ultimately I pushed and got through it. The next day I was a little bit sore. That week I took an extra day off to recover. And originally I wasn't going to do a 4th marathon, primarily because I had a race coming up in a couple of days and I wanted my body to be as fresh as possible. And quite honestly, I had never ran so many marathons back to back. I mean, I had never really ran a marathon. I ran ultras and I ran half of marathons, but never a marathon. And I had just done 3 back to back. So I said, it's probably a good idea not to do a 4th one. And as the week kept progressing, I got closer to Saturday, I kind of convinced myself that I had to do it. I can't just go for 3, I have to go for 4 and see if my body can handle it. So my way of kind of compromising was I decided to do it on a treadmill. And even though it was gonna be extremely boring to run 4 hours on a treadmill, I said, you know what, if I really wanna do this challenge and I really wanna push myself and see if I'm capable of doing this I'm gonna do it so I don't kill my legs and my legs are as fresh as possible for the race coming up and I can still do the 4th marathon. I knew mentally this one was probably gonna be the biggest challenge just because I wasn't gonna be on a track and I wasn't gonna be running with anybody. It was just gonna be me and the treadmill for as long as this was gonna take. So yesterday was marathon number 4 and I started on the treadmill at about 6:30 in the morning. I was able to keep a really good pace just because I wasn't running on pavement, so my legs weren't taking such a beating. So my pace was averaging probably around 7:30, 7:45, 8 minutes. I was feeling really, really good. And mentally, I was able to zone out and start kind of focus on what I had done these last couple weekends, how my training volume had increased, and how ready I felt for this race coming up. It was all kind of coming together. And around mile 22, right when I was getting excited, I was getting to the end of this treadmill marathon, the one that I thought was going to be the hardest mentally, my treadmill just abruptly dies. The belt stops moving and I almost fall off the treadmill. I tried to turn it back on and off, nothing would work. So I drank some water, kind of refreshed myself and decided to finish the final 4 miles on the road, which I did. And I was able to complete my 4th and final Saturday marathon. And there's 3 big takeaways I have from this experience these last 4 weekends. And that's been, number 1, I have a ton of new confidence in my legs and what I'm capable of, the kind of training volume I can push out, and how long I can really push for a training run, which before used to be about 15 miles, and now I'm pretty confident in 26 miles on any given Saturday or weekday even. Number 2 was how my body adapted, not only adapted, but improved over these 4 weeks. My MAF time went down, my recovery time felt like it was going down as well. I felt fresher and better for my training runs in between the weeks. And then number 3, and probably the most important, was this marathon challenge rekindled the fire in me to enjoy running again like I hadn't almost since I started. Running is one of these things where it's very monotonous and it's kind of the same thing over and over, especially if you're endurance training. And it can get to a point where you plateau both physically and mentally. And I was kind of there. I've been there for quite a while, and I couldn't find a way to push out of that until this marathon challenge. Because now I had a goal, and that goal was running a marathon every Saturday and seeing how I can improve my time. And even though that might be just a mental block, which it was, it did it for me, and I broke through, and I kind of feel like, and I moved on to another level where now I feel like I have no limits and I can probably push my training run maybe to 50K, which is 32 miles. And it's just exciting again, and I'm looking forward to, after this race, maybe the following Saturday, going for another marathon or maybe a little more. I mean, we'll see what my body can take and how far I can push it. Now, one thing, guys, if you haven't trained and you haven't built up the volume for this kind of stuff, don't try this. The point of this is to push your mental and your physical limits, not to run a marathon. And you got to find out what those limits are for you. For me, it was pushing beyond 15 miles on a training run. And this marathon challenge was kind of what I needed to get me to this new place in my training and in my fitness. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, put them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't already, then subscribe. I'll see you next time.